Welcome back, everybody. We're on 3.4, multiply decimals by decimals. It's a pretty simple objective. You're going to learn and be able to multiply a decimal by another decimal and get the accurate answer. Here we go. We have 3.6 times 0.05. So in past videos and lessons, we've been estimating decimals, so we've been rounding decimals and then multiplying them. On this one, we are learning how to multiply an actual decimal by an actual decimal, okay? All right, so the first step you're going to do is you're going to line up your numbers. So when you're adding and subtracting decimals, you line up your decimal points. When you're multiplying your decimals, you are not lining up your decimal points, you're lining up your numbers, as if there were no decimals, okay? So as you see, my numbers are all lined up here, okay? And by numbers, I mean my 6 and my 5 are lined up. Then you're going to figure out how many decimal places are in each number. So in your first number, we just have one decimal place, or one number behind the decimal. In your second number, we have 2 decimal places. So this is how we figure out where your decimal goes in your answer. Okay? So altogether in my problem, I have 1, 2, 3. So 1 plus 2 is 3. So our answer should have 3 decimal places, and we'll go over that in just a second. Okay? All right, so that's the first thing we have to figure out. All right, so you have 5 times 6 is 30, so we're going to drop, here we go, drop our 0, carry our 3. 5 times 3 is 15, plus 3 is going to be 18. Okay? All right. We don't need to multiply or distribute these zeros over here because they're just zeros, so it'll just give us a big kind of a waste of our time, okay? All right, so our answer then is going to be 1.80, okay? Then it says, don't forget, we have to put in our decimal places right here, okay? So you always start on the far right. We start right here, okay? I'm going to move it over to the left 3 times. 1, 2, 3. So our answer is going to be 0.180. The reason I put a 0 here is because it can't just be like 0.180. We need to have that 0 there to identify that we don't have a whole number there. So that's why we put the 0 there. All right, let's do our next one. Okay, so I've already lined up this problem for us. So let's count how many decimal places are in our first set here. So we have 1, 2, 3. So we have 3 decimal places. And our second number, we just have 1. Okay, so let's go back into our problem here, and now let's multiply. I'm just going to rewrite this. It's a little sloppy. I'm sorry, let's rewrite this. Okay, so we're going to straight up multiply as if we were multiplying 2 whole numbers. All right, so 4 times 7 is 28. Drop my 8, carry my 2. 4 times 6 is going to be 24, plus 2 is 26. Drop my 6, carry my 2. 4 times 0 is 0, plus 2 is 2. 4 times 0 is 0. Now we have to multiply that 1 by all the numbers up top. So I'm going to put my 0 for my placeholder here. And now let's start multiplying here. 1 times 7 is going to be 7. 1 times 6 is going to be 6. 1 times 0 is 0. 1 times that 0 is going to be 0. Now let's add these bad boys up. 8 plus 0 is going to be 8. 6 plus 7 is going to be 13. 6 plus 2 is 8, plus 1 is 9, and then 0 plus 0 is 0, 0, okay? Same thing, we're going to start off right here on the far right of the numbers. We're going to go over 4 places, because that's how many places are in our problem. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Notice how I'm drawing that arrow to show where I'm landing. This dot right here is showing where I'm starting, okay? So our answer is going to be, pull this number out here, 0.0938. There are, let's double check, 1, 2, 3, 4 decimal places in my answer because there was 1, 2, 3, 4 decimal places in my problem. All right, these last two problems, I'm going to have you pause the video, try on your own. When you're ready to check your answer, hit play, and we'll see if you got this bad boy down. Okay, so your first answer here, you should have gotten 0.08. There's 2 decimal places in my problem, so there's 2 decimal places in my answer. Let me write that for y'all real fast. Then we have over here 14.7 times 2.1. Again, there's 2 decimal places in my answer. There are 2 decimal places in my, in my problem there, so there's 2 decimal places in my answer. Okay? All right, make sure you have copied everything down in these notes. Your last question is, what the next holiday coming up? What's the next holiday coming up? If you don't know, I'd ask a friend in the morning. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye, guys.